Hello and welcome to the Psychic Side here on the A1R Psychic Radio Network and Lightning TV and Moonstruck TV. We are delighted to be the #1 psychic radio network on Earth. And our show is brought to you by Miracles of Joy in Louisville. So I wanted to bring that up and say that early in the program today. I'm your host. I'm John Cappello. And we're a show that you just tuned in that does its best to try to dispel the skeptics about psychic ability and astrology and the different things that we are interested in. And we last week I guess it was a little prophetic about the things that I was talking about because I was talking about how the planet Neptune is doing its little thing right now. And the thing about astrology is that once you think you have something kind of honed in, and you have this great insight on something, there's another area that you should be looking at as well. So we have lots of moving parts when it comes to astrology. And last week, if you didn't tune in, I talked a little bit about how Neptune was in the exact same position that it was in when the Civil War in the United States started, which is 29 degrees Neptune in Pisces. And it takes a long time for it to get to that point. It takes about 165 years to just kind of make that circular orbit around around the sun. Excuse me. And when it does, it's always interesting to look at cycles. I've talked a lot about cycles during the course of the past couple of years that I've been on the show. And you always kind of look back at different where you were when the last time a planet was in a position that it's in. And for instance, for Jupiter, it's 12 years. So if you look back 12 years, you may see that there are some parallel things that are going on and lessons that are uniquely Jupiter, uniquely associated with Jupiter. And it's just fascinating to see how these things come back around. And it's all about soul's growth. And the thing about it is, like with Saturn, it's every 29 and a half years. So you have your first midlife crisis at 29 and a half, and you have your second one, the real big one, at 59, 58 and a half, 59 years old. And so looking back at the cycle of Neptune, no one was alive. At least I don't think so. 165 years ago, and it's right there at that point when the Civil War started, and so it just was a mark of some potentially dangerous times ahead. And we're in kind of a strange situation because the planet Pluto, which takes 248 years to go around the sun, is in the placement of where it was during the Revolutionary War. And so I was looking at the outer planets, and then I realized that it's Mars. Mars is what had its hand in what happened last Saturday with President Trump, and then I looked to also see that another planet, Uranus. Mars and Uranus are conjunct in Taurus, and it's in the sixth house of the United States, the health of the country, and it's also challenging the values of the country because it's in Taurus. And so it's a kind of a reality check right now for the United States. What kind of people are we? What kind of consciousness do we have? And it's really a measure of our character. And of course, I've been just so disappointed for such a long time about personalities, people that have money, and people that they say people with more money than brains get out and say stupid things and things that they shouldn't say, and then other people act on it, and it just doesn't make sense to hurt someone. That's for sure. But it's always sad when people who we may look up to say things that are inappropriate and then feel like they're entitled to make those kinds of statements because they have a responsibility to all of us and to themselves, they usually have consequences like losing their reputation or something. And we've seen that a lot in the media, which is also in a crazy spot or in a situation where we see a lot of media personalities in the last 10 to 15 years who have lost their reputations and lost a lot of their prestige because they went out on a limb and said something stupid, something really, really defamatory about someone, and that's not good. You don't have to like everybody, but there's a certain filter that we all should have when we make statements, and it's something that I guess we all make mistakes, but it just seems like when people double down and they don't want to apologize or try to make good some of the remarks that they have made, it's very, very unsettling. So this past weekend, we had a unique conjunction that doesn't happen that often. It happens, I guess once a year or so, or a little over a year. It's a Mars Uranus conjunction, and today those planets are 26 and 27 degrees in Taurus, and so I'll talk a little bit about that after we've talked to our first caller. I believe our first caller. Let me just see here. I believe it's April. April in San Diego. So let's just talk to April for just a couple few minutes, and we'll see what we can do for her. So April, are you there?
I'm here.
How are you today?
I'm just great. Um,
Good, good.
and I'm really
Um,
happy you were able to call me and take my call.
oh, well, you're welcome. Okay. So April, do you have a question for me? I have some impressions of what's going on, but I wanted to just check with you first. It seems like there may be some issues around a man, or maybe some financial issues. Are there? Is that correct, or do you have another question?
Yeah, it's somewhat correct. One of my questions was my future with regards to a work path, like what I should be following um, for income.
Okay. What is your birth sign?
I'm a Virgo.
Virgo. Okay. Well,
Virgo Pisces rising. Virgo
oh boy.
Pisces rising.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you watched the program or listened to it before, but right now, people in the mutable signs are having some issues with the planet Saturn because Saturn is in Pisces. So if you have Saturn in your first house or 12th house of Pisces, it's about making some structural changes in the way that you think and where you want to where you want to be placed where you are. Okay, is your current boss a male?
Um, I Well, I wouldn't
Is
call him
it-
my boss, but I guess, yeah.
okay, we call him a
And
boss. Okay,
I kind of work
there's a
for
man
myself.
around you. Okay. Well, right now, like I say, with being a Virgo, the structures in your life, work, home, relationships, the things even your health are being kind of shaken a little bit, and those things that are not working need to be addressed, and that's why you need to look at those things. It does feel like you're going to be leaving that particular job, and of course, do you? I know you're in San Diego, so do you like being around the water?
Well, I do, but I do like the mountains also.
Okay.
I have
Well,
lived in the mountains.
it just seems to me like you like to work. Do you want to work outside then, or because it just seems to me like working in an environment where you can have easy access to the water or maybe to the mountains is going to be helpful for you because it just seems like it kind of gives you some peace of mind to be around those areas. But it just does feel like you're getting ready to make some changes because it just seems like you like to be in a setting that is going to be pleasing to your well-being. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm just giving you what comes. Um, but
Hmm.
If that's not something that's going to make you enough money, then it does feel like you may go back to get some type of training, so that you can make additional money. So, what do you do now?
Um, I do quite a few things. I do real estate. I'm
Real
also
estate.
a commercial drone pilot, and I bartend.
Okay. Well,
So I do a lot
so
of stuff.
you do stuff outside. Okay. So
What's
so
that again?
So you do stuff that requires being outside. To be a commercial drone pilot, you've got to you're flying your drones outside. I don't know if you take pictures of real estate or different projects that require like an aerial view. But because I'm wondering now, while I'm looking at this clairvoyantly, I'm just saying, well, it looks like she does stuff outside, and real estate, of course, is outside. If you were going to do
Real estate.
anything
That's
else, do what? Pardon me? I didn't hear you what
do
you
I
said.
do.
Oh,
You asked if I did anything else. What?
outside, outside. You don't.
Um,
Uh,
some, Sometimes I bartend outside at different festivals.
oh, you do? Okay. Well, that's why I'm saying.
I
I just
garden.
think that.
Oh, and I garden too.
Yeah,
I like to garden.
but when you're a commercial drone pilot, don't you have to fly
That's all
the?
outside. Well, that's all outside. Yes, yes.
That's all outside, right? Okay.
Yeah, I have my commercial license
But you don't do anything with it, or
certification.
what?
I do some stuff with it, but
Okay. Well.
I had something else that I actually was on my mind.
Okay.
It
What?
is okay, and it's more of a medium. Is anyone trying to contact me?
Okay. Well, is there a man in spirit, like a father or uh, uh, a male figure in your life that you were wanting to contact?
That I'm wanting to contact?
Well, I mean, well, is there a male figure that you've lost? Have you lost a father, or even a brother, or even a husband, someone like that? Because
Well,
that's the energy.
I lost a father some time ago, but I lost a male pet that was with me for 18 years, just a couple weeks
A
ago.
male pet. A male pet.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So it's male energy. Okay. So
Mhm.
yeah. Sometimes pets come off as children even, and so I don't know if this was a cat or a dog, but it just feels like yes, then it's the pet that's around you. But I would say also that your dad is around you. I'm not sure you have the best relationship with your father, but I do feel
No,
like
I had a really good relationship
oh,
with my father.
okay, okay, because he is around you. But with the way you were speaking, I wasn't quite sure how you were going to take that. But April, I feel like you're just an extremely independent individual. Okay, you
Uh
don't
huh.
like you don't like anyone to tell you what to do. You like to be very independent. You are a self starter. You are also, because you're Virgo, are good with detail. So there's not many tasks that you can't handle. And with your Pisces rising, it just makes you kind of adaptable to doing different things. And it's just you just have such a diversity of talent. It's kind of like when you're a Jane of many trades. It's always hard to find that one that you're going to be able to settle with. So it's hard to just say go do this because you get bored with stuff that you do, and it's almost like you have to do multitasking
Yeah,
of things. Does that
I
make
get it.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
because
I
I
mean,
know how to do so much stuff, and usually when I have to do things, it's kind of like, to me, I can do it and complete it, but then it's also kind of mundane to me. Or
yeah, it's
I
all
can
made.
see things. I can see things that other people don't get immediately,
Yeah,
and I
so
want to move beyond that. You know.
well, the only way you're going to move beyond it is, like I say, if you decided that did want to go to a profession, get the training in a particular area, and just realize that there's going to be a lot of mundane and boring times in a career, and it's a 9 to 5 that you're looking at if you decide you want to do that. But I'm just not sure you're ever going to be able to find exactly that right thing, that one passionate thing to do, because you're used to having to do several things. It's just when the money runs out in one area, you have another area you can go to make money. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Yes, it does make
Okay,
sense because that's what happens.
that's
And
what happens.
you're,
And go
yeah,
ahead.
and you were pretty correct with regarding that. There's some a health issue that I need to take care of.
Okay, well,
Um,
that's just where
huh?
you're at right now in with your sun sign, and it just works. It just works. So I'm going to have to go, but thank you very much for your call. I hope I've been somewhat helpful. But you just have to realize, accept yourself for being a person that can do a lot of different things. Okay,
Right. I didn't catch your name.
my name is John Cappello.
Okay, I thought it was John. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you,
Thank you
John.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Okay,
Okay.
bye
Bye bye.
bye. Okay. So it's interesting that this lady, the lady April, I don't know if she's still listening or not, but she she's a Virgo with Pisces rising. And if you've noticed that many people that call in the past year or so have been either a Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, and they're the ones that are having a lot of struggle right now. And every once in a while I talk a little bit about the presidential race in the United States, and most of the candidates that ran for president in the especially on the Republican side were Virgos, you know, and then we have Trump, President Trump, who's a Gemini. And then last night he chose J.D. Vance as his running mate in to be vice president. And guess what? He's a Virgo. So, where on the other hand, we see President Biden is a Scorpio, and I'm not sure what Kamala Harris is. I have to look and see, but I know she's a Libra. She's a Libra. So you have a Libra and a Scorpio versus a Virgo and a Gemini, and Saturn is the one that's pushing the things that are going on right now, and so it's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens, and you also see all the troubles that President Trump has had, and how Saturn has in many ways caused him a lot of difficulties with legal battles and with this ridiculous thing, this horrible thing that happened to him on Saturday, and so glad he survived it. I hope that he's okay. But you starting to see how things are swinging in his favor with the lawsuits that have been against him, because Saturn will kick your tail, but eventually there's a reward that comes with it. So we'll see if this continues with him. Um, but um, but the main thing that has happened with this Mars Uranus situation is that Mars is the planet of war and Uranus is the planet of unpredictability. And it's usually not a positive predictability. So it's just a very interesting thing. It's a time when there's lots of accidents, lot of missteps, and lots of things that are going on, and it's not done yet. It's not done yet. And I mentioned that there are 26 and 27 degrees of Taurus. When they get to 29 degrees, let's see what happens. Okay, now they won't be together. We'll just have to see. But Mars moves faster than Uranus does, and so it's hopefully we'll see if we'll just have to see what happens, because I'm certainly not going to contribute to any kind of discourse which is not appropriate. So, but well, we'll talk about the solutions, on how to handle these things after we speak to our next caller here. Our next caller is Kathy in Lapine, Oregon. So, Kathy, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, Kathy, are you a mom?
No.
You're not. Are you close to your mom? Is there something about mom? I keep hearing mom, mom, mom.
Oh, well, I mean, my mom passed away, I don't know, about 15 years ago.
Okay, so were you close to mom then?
Yeah. Huh. Hmm.
Okay, well, she must be here then because I kept hearing mom, 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 and as soon as I heard your voice, I kept hearing that. So Kathy, what's your birth sign?
My birth sign is Gemini.
Okay.
Surprise,
Well,
surprise.
have you been hearing what I've been talking about?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I heard the last that you just
Okay,
said. Yeah.
well, because things are rocking and rolling in your sign right now because of the
Oh,
Pisces
you're not. That's an
thing. Lot,
underestimation.
yeah, there's lots of things going on around you. But the thing about Gemini is that they're very, very adaptable, but Gemini really doesn't like to deal in some ways with difficulties. Okay, they can, but they are such multitaskers and such. Uh, uh, they flitter here and flitter there,
Yep.
and they can do just about anything. They're an amazing sign. Uh, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, as is Virgo, and it's an intellectual sign, as Virgo is, but very verbal, very fast thinkers can talk very fast as well. So, with you, have you had some relationship issues?
In the past, but not really now. I'm in a
Not
new
really now.
relationship.
I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot going on around you. It just seems like are you just kind of marking time at the moment, or is there a particular question that you have?
Well, I was just wondering what you might see in the future. I just, you know, reconnected with my college sweetheart and a couple months ago, and
Oh, well,
things are
that's
going
something that
well.
that's a relationship issue. I mean, it doesn't always have to be bad because what Saturn does is it either brings people together uh, who have been waiting a long time to find a relationship, or it can be a divorce aspect. It can be a marriage aspect. Sometimes marrying under a Saturn aspect can be a really good thing because both of you are clear eyed and both of you have gone through all of the, the inspection of each other and you have learned what you want out of life. And so marrying under a Saturn aspect is not always that bad. So you just reconnected with a long lost love. Is that right?
45 years ago, we were connected 45 years ago, and then just he reached out to me in May.
Mm-hmm. Well, very good. I don't know. I feel good about this relationship. I'm glad you reconnected with him, and I'm not going to predict a marriage just right now, but I
Right.
do feel like this is new and fun and light and cheerful, and it's just something that I just feel like you should pursue.
Well, I'm working on it.
Yeah, don't
Well,
hold me on it. just
yeah, I mean,
just five
we
more
live.
minutes.
I live in Oregon, and he lives
You want-
in Ohio. So,
oh, he does. Okay. Well, I don't know. I think that there's meat on the bone if you want to. If you, I think there's something there. It feels like he's very genuine and that he's
yes.
very interested in getting to know you better. So thank you very much for your call, and I wish you the best of luck.
Well, thanks.
Okay. All right. So I want to just kind of start wrapping things up on the program because we have about 4 minutes left or 5 minutes left, and so what I want to do is I want to tell you the best way to handle a Mars-Uranus conjunction. And this is a combustible conjunction. This is a conjunction where people's tempers can fly off the handle, and this is a temper when people will do things that they will later regret. Okay, and most of the time it's something that is under your control, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes things happen, and it's not people's fault. Um, uh, when lightning strikes, people, it's not their fault. It's just not their fault. A tornado comes, it's not the people's fault who lost their home, but they have to deal with the consequences, and they have to deal with whatever happens. And that's why the best thing to do is be patient. So if you feel your temperature is rising, or your anger is rising, or you're making someone upset, back off. Just be patient, and know it will pass. And just write a letter that you can tear up and throw away, or just deal with your anger in a positive way to dissipate it. So there's no reason to do something which you're going to regret. So this trance is not going to last forever. It just highlighted by what happened on Saturday. It's just something that is very, very unfortunate. So just some of my insights for what has been happening, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the program. We're here on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, and my name is John Cappello. Be sure to go to my Facebook page and like me there. If you need to contact me, go to john@johncappello.com. Once again, I want to thank Miracles of Joy for being our sponsor. They've been just great, so I appreciate them being with us. Use their promotional code PSO223, and we'll be here next week here on the Psychic Side, and I hope that you'll join me then. So you can also watch us on Moonstruck TV and binge watch our program. Maybe we'll have an insight that you'll like. Thank you. Bye-bye.